beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Genesis 1:1. He spoke light into existence. He separated the water from the waters and made air. He created the flowers, trees, grass. He placed the stars in the sky, the sun to shine. He placed the stars in the sky. He placed the stars in the sky, the sun to shine during the day, and the moon to shine during the night. He created birds and fish. He created all the land animals. Then he formed man from the dust of the ground. After looking around on the sixth day, God saw that each animal had a partner. There was Mr. and Mrs. Giraffe, Mr. and Mrs. Monkey, Mr. and Mrs. Penguin. But there was only a Mr. Man. And the Lord said, "It is not good for man to be alone. I will make a helpmeet for him." Genesis 2:18. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall on Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which the Lord God had taken from man made he a woman, and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, "This is now bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh." And they were both naked, and were not ashamed. Genesis 2:21-25. So not only did God create animals and man on the sixth day, he created marriage. But it is more than just that. He created more than just marriage. First, he created a helpmeet for Adam. He created someone who helps, someone to provide assistance and support in times of hardship and distress. So the wife was created to support and assist the husband. Second, he made a woman. Made means to build a house and establish a family. When God made Eve, he created the family unit. He created the first house. He created her, then led Eve to Adam. God leads us to the one he created for us. Third, when Adam called Eve woman, he was using the term wife. He said, "Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. She will be called wife because she is part of me." Eve not only was physically a part of Adam, she was figuratively a part of Adam. Husbands and wives are part of each other. They are not complete when separate. And finally, when he says a man shall leave his father and mother, he is saying, husbands, forsake, let go, and set free your parents. It is time to cleave or cling to your wife, and you shall be one flesh. You shall be one person, one body. When we marry, we become one family unit. Husbands and wives are a united front. Nothing should divide them. This is also referenced in Matthew 19, verse 5, when Jesus says, "Man shall forsake his mom and dad and set them free, and cling to his wife and become one person." God created the family unit on day 6. One man, one woman, one united front. So if God created marriage and the family unit, wouldn't it be a good thing? Statistics show that fewer people are getting married. Only about 50% of the population is actually married. According to this, marriage is not a good thing. But what does the Bible say? We find the answer in Proverbs 18:22, when we are told that whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing, and obtaineth favor from the Lord. Obtaineth means to bring out, produce. Favor is pleasure, delight, and goodwill. So whoever finds a wife brings out delight from the Lord. I would say that marriage is a good thing. I sure hope the Hubs has seen the delight of the Lord because of me. What is even more shocking than the fact that only around 50% of people are even married is that 41% of those marriages end in divorce. Divorce is not only an issue today, it was also an issue in the days of Jesus. We see this in Mark 10 when the Pharisees came to tempt Jesus and ask him about divorce. They asked him if divorce was legal to try to trick him. So it had to be an issue. When Jesus answers, he reminds them that God made male and female, husband and wife. He reminds them that God made male and female, husband and wife in the beginning, and that they are one flesh. So he responds with, "What therefore God hath joined together, let no man put asunder." Mark 10:9. Asunder actually means to separate one's self from. So he is telling the Pharisees that God ordained marriage. And if he joined the two together, no one should separate oneself from themselves. If they are one flesh and they divorce, wouldn't they be separating from themselves? But the key is what God has joined together. God led Eve to Adam. I know God led me to the hubs. We are one flesh, and I am incomplete without him. I can't imagine trying to tear myself apart into two separate people. Paul tries to help husbands and wives stay away from divorce. He gives advice to both the husband and the wife on how to have a happy marriage. In 1 Corinthians chapter 7, we find some notes. In verse 2, he tells us to avoid fornication and to have one husband, one wife. To be able to prevent improper sexual interactions, they need to be closely joined to their husband or wife. Verse 3 says, "Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband." The husband should promise under oath and deliver good will to his wife, and should the wife do the same. To prevent adultery, remember that the husband and the wife are one. That is how marriage was created. If they stick by one another, if they are closely joined together, fornication wouldn't be the temptation it is. If Adam had stayed by Eve, she wouldn't have fallen to temptation. Husbands and wives need to stay together, remain the united front. So God created man and woman, husband and wife, the marriage and the family unit. When he created Eve, he led her to Adam. He leads us to the one we are to marry. Marriage is a good thing because he created it. We are able to produce pleasure from the Lord when we marry the one he created for us. What he joins, we should not separate. How can one separate themselves from themselves? We are one flesh. We need to protect ourselves from temptation that defiles the marriage body by sticking close to our spouse. It is when we separate ourselves from our spouse that temptation arises, like what happened with Adam and Eve. The Bible shows that the statistics don't have to be your statistics. The Bible has some of the greatest marriage advice. A happy marriage is possible, but it is only possible by God's amazing grace. And so, August 5th, we actually, as God has brought us together, are celebrating our 13th wedding anniversary. And so this is the man I love, the man behind the camera, and he's pretty awesome. And so what God has brought us together, we're not going to let anything come between.
Today's verse comes from Proverbs 18, verse 22. He who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. And so I'm going to start on this canvas that I actually painted quite a few weeks ago, just didn't know what to do with it, and I think that today's verse would go very well on it. And I will be using a metallic blue, a regular blue, and a black. And so those are the colors I will be using as I letter. So please join me. you.